called Freedom Convoy, making their dissent of vax mandates known on both sides of the Canadian-U.S. border, snarling traffic, shutting down the Ambassador Bridge, and now impacting major auto manufacturing here stateside. Ford, GM, Toyota, and others all reporting factory shutdowns or interruptions in their workflows. 1 minute. They're in Michigan. Now, this 2-week protest has now hit the pocketbooks for both nations, but things are about to change. Here's Ontario Premier Doug Ford.
Faced with consequences of inaction, this virus has consistently forced us to make decisions that no one ever wanted to make. And we heard from Dr. Moore last week and again yesterday that he is now working on a plan that will allow us to remove the vaccine passport system.
All right, you heard that right. The vaccine passport system is about to go out the door, but this is not an entire win for the truckers. Listen.
So let me be as clear as I can.
Here we go, stand by.
Consequences for these actions. Fines for non-compliance will be severe, with a maximum penalty of $100,000 and up to a year imprisonment.
Joining us to discuss is former Conservative MP, founder of the Ontario Party, Derek Sloan, and Canadian YouTuber channel host Marcel Irnie. Now, Derek, over to you first. What is your stance on this protest and how it's impacted economies in both Canada and the U.S., given that our two countries are top trading partners with one another?
Well, it certainly impacted the economy. But you know what? Our economy has been impacted in a bigger way by the restrictions and mandates that have been in place here for 2 years. And the truckers and many other Canadians are frustrated. And, you know, the government says that they're listening to their concerns, but not one person from provincial or federal government has actually met with the truckers, or at least not publicly. And frankly, they're treating them much more disrespectfully than any other protests that I've seen here in Canada.
Now, Marcel, your YouTube channel normally focuses on motorbikes and sort of lifestyle topics, but in the last 2 weeks, you have been on the ground at the protests in Ottawa, documenting these events. What prompted you to switch gears? And the pun is kind of intended. And what have you witnessed there?
First of all, I'd like to clarify, I'm actually in Western Canada, Kelowna, BC, but I have people reaching out to me from all over Canada and the US and the world with news and information. And so what I see personally in Western Canada is a large majority of people are supporting the convoy. I went to the barber the other day, and 90% of the people in there were talking about the convoy and how they're pissed off with the government controls and mandates, which was really nice because just 2 months ago, everybody was just kind of being sheeply and not standing up, not speaking about it. I've been talking about what's going on for a long time now, and now people are awake. I would say around 75% of Canada is awake, and really happy to see that. And in Ottawa, you know, the news just keeps coming. Like, look, now the police are going door to door monitoring a Facebook group I just got. So,
can I just get your name and your badge number, please?
I have a card here.
Okay.
It's Erica Ingram.
Thank you.
And this is just some information about peaceful protests. That's all it is.
Okay, so you saw something on my Facebook?
No, on the Facebook group.
Okay, and decided to come to my personal residence to give me information about peaceful protest?
Yes.
Okay, so are the Peterborough Police, no, you're with OPP? Are you guys now monitoring people's Facebook pages? Or Facebook groups to who comments as to what they're...
It's so terrible what's going on with the control and the mandates and these injections, which of course are not effective. And there's no transparency, there's no accountability with the government or big pharma, big tech. So, you know, what's going on with the government? I think we need a whole refresh of that.
Yeah, it's interesting when we speak with regular Canadians, and by that I mean non-politicians, because what regular Canadians have to say really sounds different than what Justin Trudeau is saying, and you know how he depicts that most Canadians are not behind these truckers. What we hear from regular people is that there is a huge groundswell of support. Derek, Arrests have been made, though. Confiscations of gas cans, other material items that would go to the truckers in Ottawa. Police are saying these are their orders and that this is tantamount to aiding and abetting criminal behavior. What do you say to that?
Well, to my knowledge, most truckers have not been charged with any crime. So to aid and abet a crime, you have to be connected to a crime. And so what they're doing is preemptively seizing the gasoline without actually charging the average trucker with a crime. So there's a lot of things here that I don't think will play out in court, and I know that they have some lawyers working there for them. But listen, they're trying to do what they can to shut this down without creating a real mess, and they're in a hard spot.
And Marcel, we've heard the Prime Minister call these protesters racist or fringe. Others have likened them to those who stormed the U.S. Capitol building on January 6th, calling them insurrectionists. Are those political talking points? Do they reflect what the average Canadian thinks of these truckers?
It is absolutely ridiculous when I turn on CBC on the radio when I'm driving. It's so untrue. Fake news, misinformation, censorship is so rampant now. I just can't believe this is Canada and the world. What you see on the street is not what you see on, what is it, legacy media, or I call it dinosaur media. It's definitely not the case. Everyone is so happy and people are smiling. Like, you need to see your smile. So I've been going into Costco as an example for 3 months with no mask, and usually I'm the only person in the store. And then once in a while you run into one person, and I say, it's so nice to see your smile, and then they smile back, and eventually we've become groups. People start to realize that, hey, there are other people out there, and so it's so great. And for my own personal superbike career, like, I haven't worked in 2.5 years because of the border shutdown, because I race in the USA. But I tried to ignore what's going on for a long time until the mandates were announced. And I'm like, okay, I got to step it up. And I started doing my research and got involved and started blasting it on Facebook, the information that I would come across, because most people wouldn't take the research. And then, of course, I got banned and deleted from Facebook a few months ago. And that's why I started using my YouTube to answer your question earlier, is it's a means for me to reach my audience. And initially I got a lot of kickback saying, Marcel, I don't care about your political opinion. I want to see you motorcycle racing. And I'm like, this is way more important. This is way more important.
Yeah, you have that in common with the truckers, right? You all got kicked off of social media, it sounds like. Derek, what about this point of people likening the demonstrators there in Ottawa to insurrectionists of Capitol Hill?
Well, it's untrue. I mean, the protesters there are not, they're protesting. Now, we could argue about whether, it's gone on too long. I mean, frankly, I think they're justified in what they're doing. But this is not a violent, military uprising. This is, people having fun. There's bouncy castles, there's music, there's, hot dogs. It's like it's like a major tailgating party times 10 after a big football game. So.
Wow, what an incredible view up on top of the Northern Lite, the white whale. Oh, now I see the couple of police hiding in the background. Oh, we got a couple more. Doing their rounds with the mask, probably pro-freedom.
They're trying to do this to connect this to events that happened in the United States for political reasons, but there's not a grain of truth to it.
Now, staying with you, Derek, what of the folks who live near Parliament Hill who were unable to relax in their own homes due to the noise and the crowd, specifically the loud trucks blaring their horns? The city received a lot of complaints of public nuisance. What about the wishes of those people?
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is all true, and the fact is that the police have an issue on their hands, and they need to decide what to do. The truckers have legitimate grievances. The government has disrespected them. They haven't even met with them. Any other protest that comes to Parliament Hill, Justin Trudeau has been involved in various protests, whether it's Black Lives Matter or other protests. They always meet with the people. They always offer some kind of token gesture of, we've heard you, or we'll try and change things. That hasn't happened here. So, to be asking them to leave without in any way showing them the least bit of respect, I think, the fault for this lies on the shoulders of Doug Ford and Justin Trudeau. It's very clear.
If I can interject.
The whole world is certainly... The whole world has certainly got eyes on Ottawa right now, and we're looking to see what the ending will be. Derek Sloan, Marcel Irnie, thank you both for making time for us today.
I would like to say a final note on that.
Thank you.
We're only ramping up. The Canadian Freedom Convoy, it's not just, it's not just truckers. This is all of Canada. This is the Canadian Convoy. And we are ramping up here in BC. More borders are going to be blocked. So it's not like this is just a little fringe that's going to go away. And it's not about just like, let's get the mandates dropped. In my opinion, I want to see accountability. I think the Canadian people want to see accountability. Trudeau needs to get out and be held in the courts. We need to see everybody in the court.
And it's just how frustrated everyone is. We're all frustrated. We're all sick and tired of restrictions, of mandates, of having to make sacrifices, of not being able to do the things we love. It's been 2 years, and it's really, really tiring for all of us. This government has been focused every step of the way on following the best science, following the best public health advice to keep as many people safe as possible. And quite frankly, it's worked. We've seen the curves lower in Canada than elsewhere. We've seen lower death rates. We've seen quicker economic recovery because Canadians stepped up, because Canadians got vaccinated. And I can understand frustrations with mandates, but mandates are the way to avoid further restrictions or having to be restricted. As people get vaccinated, as Canadians have gotten vaccinated, we've been able to get through things. And this team is going to stay focused on doing exactly that.
And we need a real change because the system is corrupt. It's been corrupt for a long time. So just having the mandates drop is not going to fix it. We need a complete reset of the system, and somebody needs to start working on that.
Yeah, and I think the Freedom Convoy has caught fire down here in the U.S. because it's looks like copycat convoys are being planned here as well.
And look at
so
the
we'll
U.S.
continue to monitor.
They're dropping all the masks.
It's all happening here.
I just got a call from Nevada. They're dropping the masks
tomorrow. Hopefully get both
tomorrow.
of you back on to discuss all of this. Derek Sloan and Marcel Irnie, thank you both.
Perfect, thanks.
Be glad to be coming back.
All right, that's going to do it for me right now. Make sure
Thank you. You're both clear.
Cheers.
Catch us anytime you want. I'm Manila Chan. Thank you for watching. We'll see you back here soon.
Bye, Manila. Okay, guys, there you have it. I tried to sneak in some more information at the end there. Yeah, just Nevada's dropping the mandates tomorrow for the masks, and you should see how happy the kids are in the classroom.
Anymore! Is anybody excited?
So like this system is clearly corrupt, and for me personally, it's not just going to be like, oh, let's just drop the mandate now and then they'll make a new emergency order and no accountability. People need to go to jail. People need to be accountable. The citizens, the police, the politicians, the big business, the billionaires.
I think it comes down to a conception of what you think leadership is all about. And yes, we've seen it's very possible to get elected through playing up divisions and negativity. And that happens, and it's a tried and true path. It's a tried and true path. It's a tried and true path. One of the things that I feel is that once you get elected through dividing people, it becomes very hard to then govern responsibly for everyone. And you can't just keep scaring people and hope to move the world forward. Because if you do that too much, you lose part of the free and open nature of society.
It doesn't matter if you drop the mandates. The system is still this globalist, elite, corrupt system. Anyways, I am Marcel Irnie. This is Irnieracing News. I was just talking with Washington, D.C. Today is February 11th, 2022. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.